Bleach Revival's 24-hour playtest is now over, and I can confidently say that it might actually be one of the worst Bleach games that I have ever played. Now hear me out, this isn't blind hate, nor is it me trying to be negative. I'm actually going to be breaking down all the reasons why I dislike this game and telling you exactly how this might honestly be one of the worst Bleach games I've ever played. On the contrary, don't get what I'm saying confused. Bleach Revival in terms of graphics, performance, and visual effects is actually very well made. The developers actually did a good job in handling those departments. However, the devs also did a bad job in almost every other aspect of the game. It might actually be worse than Project Muketsu. But before we dive into this fully, do me a huge favor, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let's get this to at least 800 likes. And let's deep dive into why Bleach Revival might be one of the worst Bleach games I've ever played on the Roblox platform, or at least in 2024, actually. Now, there's no real order in which I'm going to be detailing a lot of these gameplay flaws. We're just gonna go through them how I see fit. So, starting off with one of the first issues I've noticed in the game is that the logos and the Ryatsu sense were not actually explained in any sort of real detail. Now, don't get it twisted. Again, there are some really good things about it. Obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to get used to what you're looking at and what the Ryatsu sense actually is. If you're looking at players, you can see aura, assuming the stronger the player is, the better the aura is, etc. Now, when it comes to the logos you get from the Ryatsu sense, there's a bunch of different ones, and there's some ones that have the same colors. And even I didn't get a full grasp on what all of the symbols meant, but there are different colors to attend to. Some of them being pink, some of them being red, some of them blue, whatever the case may be. Now, I'm assuming a lot of these are just colored in terms of maybe faction or the type of quest it is. And then obviously, if you're walking around the map, there are NPCs that you can get roaming quests from, and sometimes those will even be different colors as well. Now, I'm not going to break down what each color means in this video because this isn't a guide video. However, it is a genuine gameplay flaw that not each symbol and color is detailed, explained, or broken down in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the game doesn't even have a Trello, so that definitely doesn't help. Speaking on quests, progression, etc, logos, another gameplay flaw, well, this isn't necessarily a flaw, but I'll get into why it leads into a flaw. It's that progression is honestly just a page out of Peroxide's book, like through and through. You do have the mission board as a way of progression. It's probably not as efficient, but again, this isn't a guide video, so that doesn't matter. You have the mission boards, and one of the quests that on the mission board is a bounty hunting quest. Yes, you can bounty hunt other players. And the issue is with this quest in specific is that this quest, no matter what level you are, if you're level 1, level 20, whatever the case may be, or even level 50, makes you go around the map and hunt down another player. For example, me, I was a level 1, level 2, level 3, I was a noob. No skills or anything. And I was getting hunted down by what I thought at the time was a developer, but for some reason the testers have a developer logo next to their names. I was hunted down by a tester consistently, like to no avail. He was just chasing after me. So I'm assuming once you have this quest, it shows you where your target is consistently until you kill them. It's just stupid. First of all, this should not be a PvP game because the combat mechanics are terrible. The combat mechanics are not that of a PvP game in the first place. Second of all, why is a level 50 plus, I'm assuming, player hunting down a level 2 or level 3 player? I don't even know what's going on in the game yet, and I'm being hunted down by players, whether they're the same level as me or not, but higher level players. There should not be a mission board quest to hunt down other players at the start of the game. What on earth is this? My thing is if this was a PvP game, maybe like Type Soul or something along those lines, or Deep Woken, and you're a Void Walker, it makes sense to a certain degree, but this game is nothing of the sort. You're just hunting down noobs as you please. To top it all off, the game, I can't get this one off my chest enough. This is not a PvP game, and it should not be. This is meant to be a story-based game. What the heck? On the topic of this game supposedly meant to be a story-based game, this game was advertised as a story-based game. Heck, all the information I've seen on this game up till this point says this is a unique Bleach game that has a storyline in form of its progression. Now that I think about it, when I saw a video about this game last year, it was said to be a story-based game too. Only for me to actually hop in the game and find out that this cannot even be considered that of a story-based game. The story in this game is like events, like quick time events that last for a time span of that of 5 minutes, even if that. I don't even think the 5-minute intervals in the time span these story-based events are happening. And I'm calling them events because they only happen every so often. I'll give you a quick example. When you spawn into the game, there is a quick dialogue or whatever the case may be, which is what I assume to be the start of the story. You meet Rukia, the school's getting attacked by hollows, people die. It's pretty mid. Rukia disappears almost as quick as she enters, and there's no real, I don't know if you can call that a story. However, it's some sort of introduction into the game. After that quick instance ends, you fight some hollows and you're on your own until level 10. You just know you need to get to level 10. What do you do within that level 1 to level 10 time span? You essentially just do quests. The same quest we talked about earlier in this video, the confusing symbols and the mission board stuff, which start to actually, the scaling with the EXP starts to get a little bit off. However, if you know what you're doing and you know the right quest to take, the leveling isn't that bad, but you do need a bunch of EXP to go to the next level. Again, when this game comes out, I'll probably make a guide video, but the mission board quests kind of suck. But yes, once you finally get to level 10, you have another you get soft locked at level 10 so that you can't put any other stats in and you just don't over level. And then you get a call from Kisuke and there's some sort of energy surge that's happening with you, and then you go to the area designated. You have a 10-second conversation with Kisuke. He tells you to defeat what I would call maybe a mini boss. It's quite easy. I don't even know if I'd call it a boss. It's just a giant NPC hollow. You're fighting that thing by yourself. And after that, you go talk to Kisuke again, and then your soft lock is taken off, and then that's it. You have to go from level 10 to level 20. Now, mind you me, that little instance that took place when you got to level 10 lost a time span of about 2 to 3 minutes. I don't even know if you could say it took 5 minutes for that story, quote unquote story, to take place. It's quite short. And then again, you're on your own to level 20. From level 10 to level 20, again, you're doing the exact same thing you were doing from level 1 to level 10. However, it's gonna take longer now because you have to get more XP in order to level up. And I'm assuming you do the same thing to level 30, the same thing to level 40, and the same thing to level 50, which is quite terrible. That is not a story. Now, I don't know if this is because there's no actual real content in the game, but this one's huge, and this one isn't something to just skip over. You don't actually get your Shikai until level 50. Now, this is what I was just told, because I wanted to play and experience the game until I actually got some real Shinigami abilities. I wanted to use my Shikai. I knew that getting a Bankai, or wanting to at least get to Bankai level within 24 hours would be quite unrealistic, so I wanted to at least obtain my Shikai. And this might be the only Bleach game in the world where they actually postpone you obtaining your Shikai. You don't actually get your Shikai until level 50. I need you guys to take that in. I feel like unless you played the game during the stress tests, you don't actually understand how long that actually is. This game's leveling system is pretty boring, pretty repetitive. repetitive, and honestly, it's terrible. So in order to actually get your Shikai, you need to go from level 0, where you start the game Rukia, to level 10, where you fight the little mini boss and you find Kisuke, whatever the case may be. And then you have to do the process of what you did from level 1 to level 10, the grinding, the quest stuff, from level 10 all the way to level 20. Now, as soon as you start to get to about level 7, level 8, level 9, leveling does start to get a little bit longer. And I made it to about level 17. So it gets quite long after that level 10 stage. The EXP needed in order to gain a level starts to get kind of high. And it doesn't make it any better that the combat is unsatisfying. The mobs take a million years to kill. The quests are super repetitive after the first hour, and you have to fend off people trying to kill you because of bounty quests, and you have to do that all the way until level 50. It takes a very long time to get to level 50. So in order to actually even start experiencing gameplay, interesting gameplay at least, to get your Shikai, I don't know how it is with Harlows and Quincy's, you honestly have to know life the game. And I don't know whether to call this a premium payout simulator, because it feels like a premium payout strategy, but it's pretty crazy. Now, from some sneaks, we have seen that there are visors in this game. Don't know how to obtain those, but if it takes 50 years just to get your Shikai, I can only imagine how long it'll take for everything else. And once I found out I had to get to level 50 in order to get the Shikai, I literally Alt F4'd out the game, because there's nothing, and I mean there is nothing keeping you on this game until level 50. If the combat's unsatisfying, PvE and PvP is unsatisfying, what am I playing this game for? It's not even story based. This game's let's move on to the next point. Before we move on to the next point, it would make more sense for it to be like a level 20 or level 30 Shikai and then a level 50 Bankai, wouldn't it? I'm so confused that the scaling of this everything. Oh man, this game has some flaws, boy. Another huge, real big, annoying, pretty stupid and dumb gameplay flaw is that you can actually get to about level 9 or even level 10 without actually gaining a single ability. Now in this game, it has a stupid skill tree, and I mean skill tree, this is the skill tree of death. I usually do tend to dislike games with skill trees like this because it's so basic and stupid and boring in terms of gaining abilities. It's never interesting. It's never gonna be more than just clicking on a skill tree to get an ability. I do tend to like Deep Woken's approach, and even games like GPO's approach to obtaining your abilities, as simple as that is as well. But Deep Woken has a really good approach to obtaining abilities, stats affecting what moves you do or can unlock for a certain time period, etc. I like it when it's more complex and makes the game more interesting. Anyways, this is a Bleach game, I guess. When you level up in this game, sometimes when you level up, you gain the option of clicking where your EXP goes into, whether that's your speed, your kendo, your ryatsu, your kido, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to put your points into. And when you click on one, if you go on your skill tree, it then gives it some sort of bar, and as the bar fills up, you'll gain a level for that skill or that skill tree or section on the skill tree, should I say. So putting your points or clicking on the assigned skill tree when you level up doesn't automatically give it a level. It just puts a certain amount of EXP into that assigned slot. So it's going to take quite a while for you to get to a certain milestone in order for you to unlock a certain skill. I was level 9, putting all of my leveled up EXP into kendo, and I still didn't actually have enough for my first kendo move. Now I don't know if this was a bug or the game is just trash, but I was a little bit confused. And I had to ask my chat, which I'm assuming some of them were testers and have played the game before, how the heck do I actually get ability? And one person told me I can actually go to a store which sells an item for 100 in-game dollars that actually takes the EXP you currently have. So if you have a lot of EXP, it takes the current EXP you have and it puts it into your assigned slot, whether that be speed, kendo, etc. You get to pick where you put the points into, and I I went running around the map looking for the store. I got the item, I used it, I put it into my kendo, and then boom, I had reached my soft cap for kendo. And obviously level 10 is when your soft cap goes away. etc is the same for level 20, level 30, so you do have soft caps for each 10 levels. And I was finally able to get my first 2 abilities from kendo, which were pretty mid abilities, but I could finally deal more damage now. I had abilities. Yes, there's finally progression, and I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have a chat who had experience with the game's trash progression system in order to let me know what I needed to do. Again, the game has no Trello. There's nowhere that tells you, hey man, you need to go to a certain place in order to do this and do that so you can gain some abilities faster. There's no information on anything that's in the game or even outside the game. Now, a lot of people's arguments with things like this is that, hey man, you have to go outside of the game in order to get information and to help you progress. Well, in this instance, I couldn't even get information from the outside. I just had the perks of so happening to have a platform which I had access to people that had played the game prior. However, if I was playing this game solo or off stream, or if I was just a random person playing the game for the first time, I would not know this information and I would be level 10 with no abilities, because it takes forever for the EXP placement to be done when you don't buy this said item. That's a terrible, this skill tree sucks, and the way you get points allocated into a certain place in the skill tree sucks even harder. That needs a rework. Now I'm gonna compile these last couple of points into one point together. First of all, NPCs in this game have 1,000,000 health. As a level 1, even fighting these NPCs takes forever. Literally, it took so long to fight these NPCs, even after I finally got abilities and I was a higher level, to the point where I was just allowing the NPCs to fight each other for me. I got so irritated and bored of fighting the NPCs in this game that I made other NPCs fight the NPCs I needed for quest for me. Let that sink in. If I got bored progressing in your game before I even reached a significant level, let me rephrase that. How's anyone meant to fight or enjoy fighting NPCs in this game when they actually have 1,000,000 health? Please scale that down. Not every game needs to have parrying in it, and this is definitely one of those games where it doesn't need to have a parry system. Some of the animations, etc, and the mobs don't have that clean of animations where parrying should even be a thing in this game. Not every game needs to have parrying in it. And finally, this game having a severe lack of information. There's no Trello to refer back to, and what type of playtest that only lasts 24 hours allows you to purchase things for Robux that are gonna be reset upon release. Everything should have just cost like 1 Robux, if not just not allow people to buy things, because all our data is getting wiped on release anyways. And I'm very sure there are players who are buying ×2 EXP and ×2 money and appearance rerolls. You could change your hair, face, etc. All of that costs Robux. I'm very sure there are people spinning their clans for no reason because everything's getting wiped. I heard everything's getting wiped on release. Now they could go ahead and change that because this video is coming out, so they could publicly decide to keep everyone's data for release. In my opinion, at this point, you may as well. But the issue with things like this, again, playtests like this, is because when people actually progress, now that people have had the taste of the game and spent money on the game, to have their data wiped is irritating. Nobody, especially me, wants to have to do what I just went through all over again. I really don't. And yeah, that's honestly it for the video. This game is significantly flawed, and there's just no reason for me to play this game over a game like Peroxide. I know a lot of people are bored and a lot of people just want a new game to play, so Bleach Revival might actually be what you're looking for, I guess, if that's the case. However, this game is just so flawed and so unentertaining in my opinion. I just don't know. I didn't even speak about the UI. The UI is kind of sickening. The UI is bad too. But we're not. Now, I know this video may look like I'm hating. Everything I said here is genuinely constructive criticism and a cause for concern. If everything I've said here gets fixed, I guess, that would be good. But yeah, I don't know. By the way, can we quickly just speak on this again? You get your Shikai at level 50, bro? What the heck? So when do you get your Bankai? When do you actually get Bankai, bro? If you get your Shikai at level 50, do you get your Bankai at level 100? Who thought that was a good idea? This game actually blows.